Hello, friends. I welcome you all for the next lecture of the subject Infrastructure Engineering and Construction Techniques. So, today we will start with unit number 2, that is Railways. Under this unit, we are going to focus on various points. So, we will start with first, that is rail joints. After that, we will see short welded rails, long welded rails, and continuous welded rails, along with the Eville effects of rail joints. So, we'll start with the rail joints. So, as all of we know that the rails are fitted to sleepers and resting on ballast. So, for this rails, the rails are available in 13-meter length only. So, for continuous track, we have to join two rail sections with each other. Therefore, rail joints are necessary to hold together the adjoining ends of the rails in the correct position, both in horizontal and vertical planes. So, to join the two rail sections with each other, we have to weld the rail sections. Therefore, the purpose of welding of rails is as follows: to increase the length of the rail by joining two or more rails and thus reduce the number of joints and requirements of fish plates, which lead to economy and strength. The two rail sections can also be joined by using a fish plate. So, instead of providing fish plate, we can directly join the two rail sections with each other by welding. The next purpose of welding of rails is to repair the worn out or damaged rails and thus increase their life. If there is a derailment, then it results in a damaging of the rail section. So, such type of damaged rail sections can be repaired and their life can be increased by using welding. If we see the advantages of welded joints, so welded joint satisfy the condition of a perfect joint and hence increases the life of the rail, as also the reduction in maintenance cost of track by 20 to 40%. As compared to the fish plates, welded joints are found more economical. The next advantages of welded joints is it reduces the creep due to increase in the length of rail and in turn friction as well. The expansion effect due to temperature is reduced, which in turn also reduces the creep. The next advantage of welded joints is due to discontinuity of joints, a source of track weakness is reduced. The defects such as hammering at rail joints, displacement of joints, disturbance in alignment and running surface, which result in bad writing quality and are eliminated. The cost of track construction by welding of rails decreases due to less number of rail joints. So, these are the advantages of welding joints. Next is the types of rail joints. The rail joints are classified according to position of joints and according to position of sleepers. So, according to position of joints, it is classified as square joint and staggered joint, and according to position of sleepers, it is classified as suspended joint, supported joint and bridge joint. So, first type is the square joint. So, here we can say this is a rail section, and these two rail sections are joined by a welding here. These are the welding provided on the rail section. So when joint in one rail is exactly opposite to the joint in parallel rail, these are the parallel rails. So when such type of joints are provided opposite to each other, then it is called as a square joint. The second type is the staggered joint. Here we can see this is a railway track, and these are the joints provided. So when joint in one rail is exactly opposite to the center of other parallel rail, then it is called as a staggered joint. Third type is the supported joint. So here we can see this is a rail, and these two rails are joined with each other by giving a support of these sleepers. So this is a photo of supported joint which shows that this is a sleeper. So the two rail sections are joined here, and support is given on the sleeper. Therefore, when sleeper is placed exactly below the rail joint, then it is known as a supported joint. So here we can see a sleeper is placed exactly below the rail joint. Therefore, it is called as a supported joint. The second type is the suspended joint. As the name indicates, it is suspended type. So here we can see this is a rail section, and these are the sleepers provided, and this is a suspended type of joint. Here these are the two rail sections. When a rail joint is placed at the center of two consecutive sleepers, then it is known as a suspended joint. Next type is bridge joint. So bridge joint can be provided by using a bridge of metal, or bridge joint is also provided with a bridge plate. So figure 5 shows bridge joint with metal flat. So here these are the two rail sections and are joined by this bridge of metal. This is a joint. And figure 6 shows a bridge joint with bridge plate. So these are the two rail sections which are joined with each other by a bridge plate. In this case, a length of metal serving as a bridge is used to connect the ends of the two rails so that there is no bending stress in the rails. The next important concept is the short welded rails. These short welded rails are popularly known as SWR. A short welded rail is one which contracts and expands throughout its entire length due to temperature variation. These SWR rails are welded into 3, 5 or 10 rail lengths to make short welded rails. The short welded rails of 3 rail length means for broad gauge the length of the rail is 13 meter. So for 3 rail length, the length of SWR is 3 into 13 meter for BG, and if it is a meter gauge, that is MG, then it is 3 into 12, have been standardized on Indian Railways. So if this is a railway track, so short welded rail is one which contracts and expands throughout its entire length. Throughout this entire length, the short welded rails will contract and expand. Therefore, it is called as a SWR. Next is the long welded rails. Long welded rail is one whose central part does not undergo any longitudinal movement and only end portions are affected due to temperature variation. The minimum length of more than 200 meter in case of BG and 300 meter for MG will function as long welded rail. The maximum length of long welded rail is prescribed as 1 kilometer, that is 1000 meter under Indian condition. So in case of this long welded rail, suppose this is a long welded rail, so this long welded rails, for this only the end, these are the end, these ends go under contraction and expansion, and this central part will remain as it is. Therefore, it is called as a long welded rails. Here we can see the long welded rail. These are the switches provided. Here we can see the two rail sections are joined with each other and their ends, these are the ends, go under contraction and expansion, and this central portion will remain as it is. Therefore, it is called as a long welded rail. The third type is the continuous welded rail. The welded rails longer than 1 kilometer and extending from one station to other with switch expansion joint are called as a continuous welded rail. So such type of rails are extending from one railway station to another, and generally this type of rails are longer than 1 kilometer, that is more than 1000 meter. The next important point is the evil effects of a rail joint. So here evil is nothing but the harmful effect of the rail joints. We have seen the various advantages of a rail joint, but it also shows, or it also have various disadvantages also, and because of which there are certain harmful effects of the rail joints. So due to impact of the moving loads on the joint, the packing under the slipper gets loose and track geometry gets distorted very easily. Therefore, it requires frequent attention at the joint. The life of rails, slippers and fastening gets affected adversely due to extra stresses created because of the impact of moving loads at the rail joint. The next effect is lot of noise is created due to rail joints, making riding uncomfortable. Next effect is there is danger of removal of fish plates and bolts. And one more effect is rail joints causes wear and tear to track components. So these are the various harmful effects at rail joints, which can be minimized or overcome by using the following remedies. First is proper packing of joint at sleepers. So whenever we are joining the sleepers and rail sections, the joining at the joint should be proper. The next measure is the tightening of fish plate or bolts to optimum level. Next is, as we are joining the two rail sections with each other, so adjustment of gaps for contraction and expansion should be proper. Next remedy is lubrication of rail joints to facilitate expansion of rail, but also to retard wear of the fishing planes of the rail, and fish plates should also be provided. And last remedy is welding of rail ends properly. So this is about the rail joints and evil effects of rail joints. So with this we will stop here and will continue in the next lecture. Thank you.